Is it through learning well the sixth consciousness and practice it to reduce bad karma, thus clearing hindrances to get to the Pure Land for higher level, the nine ram? Said if you understand your mind, and how it works, you have only, if you really thoroughly understand it, you have only grasped the first part of the practice. That is the part in conceptual understanding. You understand the concept, so you've gone through the conceptual understanding part, where you learn, it's just like you know your problems, you know our problems. You learn the conceptual understanding, so that if you are given a case to solve a problem, you analyze the problem, you identify the problem. More and more, I learned about the importance of an approach to life, or approach to anything. I still remember when I was at my MBA program at U of T. I graduated from U of T. And in the program there, they adopted the Harvard business case of study. And in every session, we're given a case to do. And in that case, we have to, within 2 hours of examination, we have to plow through 30 pages of the company's background. Company's background and with charts and figures and budgets and all the information. They're crowded, and they're with at least 30 pages with figures and everything, with company background, what it has confronted with. And then the question is, can you help this company? So in 2 hours, you have to help this company. How do you help it in 2 hours? So we have been given some techniques. The first one is what? You have to, of course, you got to read through the cases, and you can't just, if you're not a fast reader, you flunk. I mean, that's it. You can't. You have to read fast and pick the important information. You have to plow through 30 pages fast, and really have to, under pressure, to do it. And then, after reading it, then what do? You have to identify the problem. You just jump ahead and that's it. But how do you do it? The first one is, when we were plowing through it, we're highlighting. We're putting marginal notes. That's the problem. Problem one, problem two. It's not just going through it, reading it. At the same time, we are eyeballing it, and we are also scribbling on it. This is a problem. Identify the problem. So, after we identify the problem, what do? We want to find out, the second procedure is to find out the causes of the problem. Identify the problem is just identify it. Look, the problem is there's a personnel relationship problem. The problem is it has a budgeting problem. And then it has a consumer behavior problem. And then it has a production problem. Something happened in the factory, all that. So many problems. But first of all, you have to identify them. After you identify them, what do? Not enough. You have to find out causes of the problem. Why is that problem brought about? The causes at the same time. And after you identify the causes of the problems, what do? Then you're more comfortable. If I'm the candidate writing the exam and I have 2 hours, if I can spend my first 1 hour in reading it, putting out marginal notes, I identify the problem, and then I find out the causes of the problem, I'm well on my way to pass. Because the next hour is just like how to design a method to solve the problems. And designing the method to solve the problems are multifaceted. To you, that's how you solve the problem. To him, this is method A, method B, method C, method D. I mean, so many methods. The professor can say your method is terrible. No, this is my method. And this is how I do it. The professor is looking at how do you identify the problem? How do you find the causes of the problem? If you know the causes of the problem, you know how to design a method to do it. If you know that the causes of the problems is in the wastage of the factory production, then you know that's the problem. If you find the problem is the market trend is not for this kind of product. It's outdated already. You are still on Olympic typewriter. You fail because right now they got keyboards, $10 a keyboard. How can you steal an Olympic typewriter to type out your information? So it is exactly what the Buddha is teaching, is telling you. You have to study your consciousness, know the problem, know the causes of the problem. Why did the Buddha has to go through all this detail in explaining all these problems to you? Some people, I sometimes have received comments on the YouTube. I put a lot of YouTube lectures in there, probably you realized it. And most of the cases, I'm not bragging or anything like that. You can always check the comments, good comments. And sometimes they're not so good comments too. The not so good comments usually say, how do you know this, how do you know that? But of course we have to deal with that. So what we really have to do is I want you to know the problems, then you find out methods to solve them. And the Buddha also gave you methods to solve this problem. And he had laid out 10 ways to going to the same objective. So you can go the Pure Land approach, you can go the esotericism approach, Zen approach, Tiantai approach, you can do meditation or chanting, so many approaches to resolve the problems. And in the conceptual understanding, when we're studying, we also been given information on how to resolve problems, how to analyze it. In other words, we have analytical tools, how to do budgeting, how to curve it, how to write curve, how to analyze this. That's exactly what the Buddha taught us. Do your meditation practice. If you do your meditation practice every day, you're practicing you are introducing methods to solve those problems. You think you can come every Saturday and you know all the methods to solve the problem? You have to train your tools. If you want to get away from retribution, from suffering, from unhappiness, you have to train your tools to get away from them. So at the same time, you see how the Buddhist teaching contain methods to solve the problem, identify the problems, give you conceptual understanding of the problem, and then you apply those problems. So it's good sometimes. I suggest to all monks, if they are preaching, that they should go through the management approach, because that really solves those. For all those who can analyze problems, it's good to study the Buddhism because they know how to do it. The sixth consciousness, understanding Vijnana Matrata, the consciousness teaching, then is to give you the tools and give you the conceptual understanding how to identify them, and also teach you how to analyze it, get the causes of the problem, and then attempt to resolve it. And you think by doing that, the company will improve? No. They have to carry out what is being suggested. Sometimes in a company, we have meeting almost like every day. But after the meeting, nobody did anything about it. After the meeting, oh, okay, fine. See, we are on your way. Look, Jack, oh, look, Mary, we're on our way to success because we have meeting every day. But they only have meetings. They never walk out the meeting. When they walk out, it's just bringing the pieces of paper of those minutes, and they never practiced it. It does not matter how many questions you ask. If you don't practice it, it's just like walking out the meetings with instant minutes, and once you walk out, you throw those minutes away of the meeting, minutes away, and you never walk the board. You never walk out. You never take your first stride to achieve that end. You never walk. You're waiting. So it does not matter, but maybe you're improving. See, I only have one question. That means you really have applying them, because you don't have you don't get any conceptual understanding. What you're doing is you're actually applying. So you're not asking any conceptual question, which is good, So you really have to do it. You really have to, not just every Saturday come here and you expect to be a Buddha in this one life. Very difficult. You really have to practice it. Oh, any question? Yes? Yeah. You raise your hands first, or so yeah. So the question is, if you can't listen or if you can't hear what's been said, is you're in the business of controlling pests in restaurants, so that restaurants can be more hygienic, and there will be no passing of germs and all that.
We just report on the information.
Huh?
We just report the information. We
Yeah.
gather the information. That's all.
Yeah, you gather information and they would do the control.
Yes.
Yeah. I think what you're doing has good intention, because you don't want the germs to be spread onto food, and you want to protect health of all those who are consuming the food. I don't think you have anything to worry about, because you are passing your analysis of how to control this. But then one of the very important criteria, which is in my mind, one should tell them that, look, you have to always keep your kitchen clean. If you're messy with your own kitchen and you attract all those pets and rats and cockroaches and all that in there, actually you're inducing more killing. So I think the main criteria is you should keep your kitchen clean as the first priority. It's all boiled down to intention. Your intention is to keep the restaurant clean. Your intention is to prevent infestation. To keep down infestation. Your intention is to improve the health of those who come here to come in to enjoy the food. And your intention is to make sure that they know how to keep their kitchen clean.
Well, yes. On the other side of it, Venerable, these restaurants do serve meat, and they do also serve alcohol.
Well, if they serve meat, they sell alcohol. It does not matter whether you do your test or not. They're still selling that, right? So that is not a variable that you should consider when you increase your productivity. When you increase your work, it does not mean that when you increase the work, they increase their alcoholic beverages. Actually, the most important is, do they taste good to them? See, if it's the cleanest restaurant in the whole world, if they are producing food that is not edible, that is not tasty, you think people just go in there for the cleanliness? So yours is just a secondary consideration. And sometimes in most restaurants, they don't really care as long as it tastes good, right? So, of course, health is important. Actually, you're adding a feature onto it. But on the other hand, if you promote killing, that wouldn't be good. But you're not. I don't think there's any conflict. You can control what they do, but I think that I suggest to you that in whatever reporting you do, always emphasize on the preventative measure, not on the control, on the coercive control, in order to wipe them out, to poison them, on preventative. You prevent such thing to happen. That means, directly or indirectly, you're preventing more killing. So that if they're invested with rats, so they wipe out all the rats, right? But if you say you have to prevent it, preventative, you have to keep it clean so that rats won't get into here, so you actually prevent more killing, right? That's what I look at it.
At the end of the day, I won't have control over that, but
Well, you can't control. There's so many things one cannot control. Not even their own life you can control. I mean, how can you control that? You can't guarantee, right?